Good evening, students. Today I will discuss about your ethics and values for second semester students. And as you all know that your second semester university examination is approaching nearby, and in the last date you have the examination of that ethics and values, in which the pattern of examination is you have to attend the 25 marks of examination in 1 hour. Okay, so in second semester, as like as your first semester, you have 4 units. Okay, and you have to face or appear total 25 marks, and the pattern of your mark distribution is you have to attend 1 mark question, 5 numbers, that is 1 into 5 is equal to 5 marks. Then 2 mark question, 5 numbers, that is 2 into 5 is equal to 10, and 2 questions of 5 marks, that is total 10 marks. So 5 plus 10 plus 10 is equal to 25. Okay, as your first semester. So today in this video, I just will discuss about what are there in your syllabus and about some important terms and important salient features about your this ethics and values in this semester, so that you can appear your questions. Okay. So, dear students, before going to the discussion, as it is my first class of your second semester ethics and values, so I will continue the classes for Odia medium also. So, please to get the latest video, first I would like to request you all to subscribe the channel. Okay, so that you can get the latest video and latest notification on your screen. Okay, so let's see. So Indian Constitution is in your first unit. Okay, so here you will learn about salient values of the preamble: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. So you will be acquainted with these terms. Okay, so it will be so easy for political science students, because these terms are already there in their syllabus, but for other students it is new terms, but you all should know what are these. Okay, so first unit is based on your Indian Constitution. Then second unit is based on your so just look what will be the entire pattern or entire your syllabus and its discussion. Okay, so just let me say about the second unit. Okay, so second unit is on your patriotism. Okay, so your second unit will be about patriotism, that is patriotic values and ingredients, the concept of good citizenship, emotional connection with the country, duties of citizens, and qualities of good citizens. Okay, all these things. Okay, in unit 2 we will learn. Then in unit 3 you have just okay, so in unit 3 you have volunteerism. Okay, so where you will learn about what is volunteerism, then principles and perspectives of volunteerism, how does one become a volunteer, then common sectors for voluntary work suitable for students, then summary. Okay, so this will be your unit 3 or chapter 3. Then last unit or chapter 4 will be based on your, okay. So chapter 4, just look here, just a minute. Okay, so this is your chapter 4 regarding organ donation, all these things. Okay, we will discuss today in detail, so that this syllabus will be completed for your exam point of view. Okay, because in many colleges this subject is not covered or not discussed yet. So okay, so chapter 4 or unit 4 is based on your work ethics, where you will learn about punctuality and time management, cleanliness, law abidingness, rational thinkings and scientific temper. Okay, so this will be your entire syllabus and matter of discussion. So directly come to the first chapter, that is your Indian Constitution. So let us learn about its objective. Okay, so the objective of this paper is, a constitution is the, you know that a constitution is the fundamental law of a state or a country or a nation, isn't it? So it lays down the objectives of the state, provides for various structures and organs of the government, and describe the rights and duties of the citizens. So the constitution of a nation and the way it works determine the nature of governance. Thus, it is necessary for the citizen to be aware of the constitution and the proper application of constitutional obligations and duties. Okay, so let us directly discuss the constitution, the preamble. Okay, so preamble means values and salient features. So the Constitution of India commences with a preamble. The preamble means, preamble is like an introduction or preface of a book. As an introduction, it is not a part of the Constitution, but it explains the purposes and the objectives of our Constitution. Okay. As such, the preamble provides the guiding principle of the Constitution. The preamble provides a key to unlock and explore the spirit of our Constitution, and without it, a proper appreciation of the objectives and values that find a place in our Constitution would not be possible. Okay, so this is the preamble. Preamble means it is just like the introduction part of the Constitution. As you read a book, before that a preface comes like this. The preamble is the important introductory part of the or salient features of the Constitution. So recognizing its importance, the preamble was amended in 1976 by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, so the preamble reads as follows. What is the preamble? So the preamble is, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens, okay, justice, then social, economic and political liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith and worship, then equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all, then fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. Okay, so when our Constitution was formed, so our Constitution was formed in the 26th day of November 1949. Okay, means 26th November 1949 our constitution was formed. So what is the then sovereignty? I am not going through details because you need at least some fundamentals to represent your answers. We need not worried about the entire chapters. Entire chapter is in the PDF. You can go through that, and if you want, then you can read. Okay. So the declaration we the people signifies the source of authority, states that ultimately people of India are sovereign, that the constitution is not a gift of anyone else, say the Government of India Act 1935. Okay, and it was a gift of the British Parliament. Even the Indian Independence Act 1947 of British Parliament was not our source of authority. Okay, so the constitutions of USA and France, early constitution makers of the world, also draw the authority from their people and consider people to be sovereign even today. Okay, so the preamble emphasizes complete political freedom by declaring us as a sovereign entity. Okay, so we have the political freedom. So sovereign means we have the political freedom. Okay, and the core meaning of sovereignty is the supreme authority within a territory. Okay, these are some important that what does we mean by sovereignty. So it is the supreme authority within a territory. So D.T. Basu, a constitution expert, he told that the word sovereign is taken from Article 5 of the Constitution of Ireland. Okay, so where from this word comes? It is taken from Article 5 of the Constitution of Ireland. So sovereignty means ultimate power, and in monarchical orders, sovereignty was vested in the person of monarchs. But in the republican forms of government, sovereignty is shifted to the elected representatives of the people. Our preamble begins with the words, "We the people of India," thus clearly indicating the sovereignty of the people and the fact that all powers of government flow from the people. Okay. Then come to socialist. So the word socialist was not there in the preamble of the constitution in its original form, and it was added to the preamble by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. However, several articles of our constitution were already there, giving weight to the ideal of socialism. The constitution has consciously evolved as an indigenous model of socialism to suit to our needs and temperament. It aims to end all forms of exploitation in all spheres of our existence, such as removal of inequalities and provision of minimum basic necessities to all. So our constitution directs the state to ensure a planned and coordinated social advance in all fields and ensuring equal distribution of wealth among its inhabitants. Okay. Socialism essentially means social ownership or control over the means of production and distribution. Everyone within society has ownership of property. Government must have control over economic means. This signifies concern for have-nots, the poor, the deprived, the excluded. It is not opposed to capitalist individual rights, and Mahatma Gandhi in his work Hind Swaraj and India of My Dreams describes socialism envisions as a society where no one is rich or poor, no class conflict, okay, where there is an equal distribution of the resources and a self-sufficient economy without any exploitation and violence, okay. This means the socialism. Then come to secularism. What is secularism? Along with the term socialist, the term secular was also added to the preamble through the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. All major religions in the world find acceptance in India to facilitate harmonious existence of all. Secularism has been found to be a convenient formula. Then secularism in the preamble implies that India is not directed by any religions, and however India is neither religious nor irreligious nor anti-religious. India allows all its citizens to uh, profess, preach and practice any religion of their choice. Articles from 25 to 28 ensure freedom of religion to all its citizens. Okay. So, Constitution strictly prohibits any discrimination on the ground of religion. Then, democracy. So, the preamble says that the Constitution belongs to the people of India. The Constitution of India provides the mechanisms for a representative democracy, and democracy is generally known as government of the people, by the people and for the people. This means that the people elect the government and the government, it is responsible and accountable to the people. The democratic principles are emphasized with the provisions of universal adult franchise, periodic elections, fundamental rights and responsible government. Then India adopted parliamentary democracy to ensure a responsible and stable government. The government derives its authority from the will of the people. The people of India elect their governments at different levels by a system of universal adult franchise. All citizens without any discrimination are allowed freedom of speech, then thought and expression and association. Then democracy contributes okay. So these are about your what do we mean by democracy. So that was all about your the important terms of your unit 1, that is on constitution. Now come to the patriotism. Okay. So the entire PDF is in front of you. I am just discussing some important terms and you may go through the entire PDF. Okay, you can make your learnings by pausing the video. So the objective of this unit is the good citizens are the backbone of a nation, as we all know, and love for the nation is patriotism, and patriotic values create sense of good citizenship, and good citizenship helps in nation building, and this lesson is about the idea of patriotism and nation building. After going through this chapter, you should one will be able to understand the basics of patriotism, okay, then comprehend the patriotic values, Indian cultures, ethos, etc. Okay. So what is patriotism? The standard dictionary defines or definition of the term patriotism reads love of one's country. Okay, this captures the core meaning of the term in ordinary use, but it might well be considered too thin and in need of explanation. Patriotism involves special affection for one's own country, a sense of personal identification with one's country, then for special concern for constitution, and in the fundamental duties section it asks the citizen to inculcate good citizenship and contribute to the nation building process. So patriotic values and the ingredients of nation building. Nations stay together when citizens share values and preferences and can communicate with each other constructively. Patriotic values are essential for nation building, and in a country like ours, which is rich in diversity, patriotic values should be inculcated in every citizen, which in turn will contribute to nation building. Okay, so nation building or concept and prerequisites. Nation building means the process of constructing or structuring a national identity, and the term nation building could be regarded as employing the resources of the state in working tirelessly towards building a strong nation. In other words, we can say that the aim of nation building is the unification of the people within the state so that it remains politically stable and viable in the long run. So nation building is a process that involves everyone in a given society. This phenomenon necessitates the component elements of the nation and coming to identity themselves with the symbols and institution of the state. So these are about your nation building concept and prerequisites. So what is the role of patriotism in nation building? Okay, this may be one important question, that what is the role of the patriotism in nation building. So as you know that we have discussed that patriotism means the feeling of love in towards its country. So patriotism, as discussed above, stands for love for one's motherland or fatherland. A patriot is someone who respects a nation's symbols, traditions and heritage, then respects the sentiments of fellow countrymen and contribute constructively to the growth and well-being of the nation. So education provides a platform for the fulfillment of important tasks like value education, citizenship training, patriotism, character building and so on. So these tasks help the state to perpetuate an equity-based social order through the ideology of nation building. Okay. So now let us discuss or focus or discuss some important points about concept of good citizenship. So good citizenship involves multiple components including values, norms, ethical ideas, behaviors and expectations of participation. So the idea of good citizenship is related to diverse contemporary issues such as patterns of politician, then participation, the meaning of democracy and human rights, the notion of civic culture, equal rights and the role of technology in the digital era. Some of the attributes of good citizenship include voting in every election, learning about the country's history, showing respect for government institutions, engaging in constructive political discussions, then participating in peaceful protests against laws believed to be unjust, taking part in activities to benefit people in the local community, then engaging in activities promoting human rights, then involving oneself in activities to protect the environment, obeying the laws of the land, being morally not evading responsible payment of taxes, showing solidarity with others. Okay. So, who is a citizen? If we this question will come, then legally a recognized subject or a national of a state is called a citizen. Further, a citizen is one who has the power, authority to seek any office and to vote any election. Okay. So, an inhabitant of a particular town or city or a country is a citizen. Identity, the common social characteristics shared by the citizen of a nation. Okay. So, emotional connection with one's country. Patriotism or national pride is the feeling of love, devotion and sense of attachment to a homeland or a country, and alliance with other citizens who share the same sentiments to create a feeling of oneness among people. As discussed above, a primary attribute of patriotism is emotional attachment to one's homeland. Since the beginning, humans are emotionally attached to their homeland, which came to be called motherland or fatherland later. So, duties of citizens and qualities of good citizens. What should be the duties of citizens? Okay. So, citizens are part and a parcel of a country. A nation is a whole and citizens are part of it. The nation, through its constitution in modern times, grants many rights to its citizens and in lieu of that also demands many duties from the latter. It is the duty and obligation of the citizens to obey the law of the land and display the qualities of good citizenship. A citizen is a participatory member of a political community, and citizenship is gained by meeting the legal requirements of a national, state or legal or local government. Okay. So, patriotism and the Indian Constitution. So, as we know that the Constitution is a living document and a guide in matter relating to laws and rights. Okay. So, this body of fundamental principles established by our ancestors demands some form of patriotism from the citizens, which we call constitutional patriotism. Constitutional patriotism means having feelings of devotion for the constitution of one's country rather than any particular society or nation. Constitutional patriotism consisting of in love for one's country and belief in its doing. India has already witnessed a partition in 1947 on religious grounds and to avoid any such terrible incident in the future. Our heterogeneous country needs to be strongly united and to present this from happiness. Constitutional patriotism is the best solution as the Constitution treats everyone equally and prohibits discrimination. Therefore, if one regards the Constitution as the head and not the government, then he or she will work accordingly. Some directives of constitutional patriotism which all of us need to obey include respecting the national anthem, the national flag, national symbols, national cultural heritage, participating in national elections, protecting national property and above all, respecting and obeying constitutional values of the nation. Okay. So these may be the important questions, okay, that is definitions may be asked regarding patriotism, nationalism, motherland, fatherland, then your fundamental rights, good citizen, okay. Then descriptive type question may be differentiate patriotism from nationalism. How did the term patriotism evolve from patria? Okay. Then conceptualize good citizenship. Discuss constitutional patriotism. Then distinguish destructive and constructive patriotism. Okay, these are the some important question of this unit. Then long type means 5 mark question may be sketch a brief note on the origin and meaning of patriotism. How did ancient Indians conceive of patriotism? What do you mean by emotional attachment to motherland? How does it help nation building? Note down the attributes of a good citizen. Examine how good citizen helps in nation building. Then discuss constitutional patriotism in India in the light of fundamental duties. Okay. So these were about your unit 2. Then unit 3 is your volunteerism. Okay. In this unit you have to learn about objectives of the chapter. Then what is volunteerism? Who is a volunteer? Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Then your who should we why should we volunteer? Then qualities that characterize a volunteer. A brief history of volunteering. Then some notable your voluntary organizations and how does one become a volunteer. Then common sectors for voluntary work suitable for students, that is blood donation, organ donation, cleanliness and save the environmental campaigns, caring for senior citizens through volunteering, caring for street children, caring for children of migrant workers, then caring for children of slum dwellers, caring for children in child care institutions, then volunteering with the police, then suicide watch volunteering. Okay, all these things you will know in this third unit. So what is volunteerism? Volunteerism is commonly defined as a positive action by an individual or group of individuals that has proved to be beneficial not only to the individual but also for society. And volunteering is a choice made freely by a person or an organization and transcends all caste and religious barriers. It is a mutually beneficial relationship, not in terms of material benefit, but definitely from an emotive perspective, particularly for the volunteer. It is an act without any vested interest or any material benefits, not even expectations of financial benefit to oneself. So there are many examples of volunteering around us. Many fellow human beings living around us provide their time, then expertise and effort by volunteering to work in public and private institutions for the underprivileged, including children having no parental support, then mentally challenged children, then street children, the old age homes, the acting, begging, people living in tribal areas. There are called volunteers whose time and resources are devoted to bettering the lives of their fellow human beings, other living beings, including plants and animals. There are umpteen examples of volunteers providing cooked food to street children, then teaching destitute children at makeshift shelters, providing much needed health care to poor households, then running placement centers in educational institutions, then organizing structured sports and games for under privileged children, providing food and psychological support to the elderly and women in institutions, and the physically as well as the mentally challenged persons residing in institutions. Okay, so volunteerism can also be taken up by organizations in a targeted manner, and India has many organizations that are registered as voluntary organizations. For example, these are non-government bodies called NGOs. They work mostly in social service sectors. Some popular voluntary service organizations are CRY, means Child Right and You, then Missionary of Charity, then Salam Balak. Okay, these are some uh, popular voluntary service organizations. Then Help Age India, Mobile Crutches, then Apnalay, Akshar, it is each of these work in a specific area like Help Age India working with senior citizens. Okay. So volunteerism principles and perspectives are: volunteering most benefit the community and the volunteers. Volunteer work is mostly unpaid. Volunteering is always a matter of choice. Volunteering is a legitimate way in which citizens can participate in the activities of their community. Then volunteering is a vehicle for individuals or groups to address human, environmental and social needs. Then volunteering is an activity performed in the not for profit sector only. Then volunteering is not a substitute for paid work. Then volunteers do not replace paid workers, nor do they constitute a threat to the job security of paid workers. Then volunteers must be aware of and respect the rights, dignity and culture of others. And who is a volunteer? A volunteer is a human being who, by virtue of his work, makes a difference on the ground. And volunteers freely choose to devote a certain amount of their time and effort to provide help and support to another person, groups, or persons, or to a cause. Okay. To summarize, we can say that a volunteer is a professional or non-professional person who willingly spares his or her time and effort for others. They are committed to the goals and principles of selfless service or social work. They neither expect nor receive any remuneration for their work. As a consequence of this work, emotional satisfaction and moral credit are always accrued to the volunteer. Okay. So, now question comes, why should we volunteer? So volunteer add to the quality and overall scope of various programmatic services of governments and NGOs involved in social work. So they provide enthusiasm, additional resources, genuine interest and many times specialized skill sets not available otherwise. It is known that volunteers have often supplemented the regular workforce during times of crisis like natural or man-made disasters, especially when requirement peak. They often have the capacity to provide services outside the normal purview of government employees. For example, during the current COVID-19 pandemic, we saw many individuals and organizations that worked incessantly with affected people, providing food, health care facilities like transporting them home, emotional support, and funeral services. The world during the first and second waves of the pandemic without these volunteers would be unimaginable. Okay, so these are all about your why should we volunteer. Then some notable voluntary organizations if we will discuss, then one important is your Committee for Legal Aid to the Poor, that is CLAP. Okay, Committee for Legal Aid to the Poor, CLAP. So CLAP works through a rights based approach in India to advance human rights through the use of the legal system. It is based in Cuttack. It works in various states of India with primary focus on Odisha. It renders legal services pro bono to the marginalized, facilitation access to justice, and undertakes advocacy for legal reform. The club manages Legal Service Institute, which serves one society, especially the marginalized, to enable them to assert their rights with dignity. It also carry out various programs like legal awareness, legal support for capacity building, legal empowerment of marginalized communities, mediation, and judicial advocacy. Okay, then Binimay Trust. Binimay Trust is a public charitable trust focusing on providing complementary services to underprivileged children and youth staying in institutions. It is a purely volunteer based organization where every functionary is a volunteer. They are guided by the philosophy that the volunteer provides a much needed service but simultaneously benefits from sense of internal fulfillment that makes life worth living. The organization is based on the concept we gain as much as we give. It is now more than 40 years old and its activities include child welfare and youth aftercare like sports, teaching, healthcare, employment, locating lost families, integration with society at large. Okay, Indian Institution of Education and Care IIEC. Okay, then another is your Chetna. Okay, it is an NGO. Then Smile Foundation. These were some important voluntary organization who work for the welfare of different groups of needy peoples. Okay, so how does one become a volunteer or preparing oneself? Decide which causes you care about. So everyone has a favorite cause and passion. So choosing to volunteer for an organization or cause that one feels passionate about can increase the chances that one really enjoys the opportunity before beginning to work as a volunteer. One must take time to determine what one really cares about. For example, if you are passionate about disability rights, you may enjoy volunteering at a special needs organization. Okay, then to be a volunteer you have to focus on these points. For example, first is decide which causes you care about. Second is your identify the skills and knowledge you can offer. Then third is create a volunteer resume. Fourth is determine how often you can volunteer. Then research volunteer opportunities in your community. Acquire in the appropriate mindset as well as skills. Then inculcate professionalism in yourself. Okay. Then regular assessment of one's volunteer experiences. Then a volunteer must always be aware of the consequences of his or her work. Then common sectors for voluntary work for students. Then blood donation. Okay. Then organ donation. Okay, in India is regulated by the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissue Act 1994. These are important that organ donation in India is regulated by the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act. Hmm. So now I am just I running these PDF, and I will not make voice. So you just go through this, read this PDF, and if possible make some notes, okay, and prepare for your examination. Okay. Otherwise I will do another video for this unit, uh, uh, last part of unit 3 and entire unit 4, but you just watch this entire PDF, okay, and if possible pause the video and make your notes. So just watch this page, this is more important. What is volunteers? Keywords means definition of some important term, that is volunteerism, formal volunteering, then NGO, prevention, Salvation Army. Okay, all these are important terms. The Rotary Club, hmm, then the Lions Club. Okay, these are important terms, and some important questions of these chapters are definition. You may be asked for one mark question that define the term volunteer, then NGO, Smile Foundation, then blood donation, then Samaritan movement, citizen police, Salvation Army, Rotary Club International. Okay, you may be asked. Then for 2 mark question, there may be describe the importance of the volunteerism. Why should we volunteer? Discuss in brief. What is organ donation and discuss the concept of volunteering organ donation. How volunteers can help old age people in need of caring. Then how volunteering can protect children from different challenges and problem. Okay, then for 5 mark question that you may prepare, what is the importance of the volunteerism, in what way volunteerism is beneficial for society, discuss. Then how do volunteers works for the protection of environment, then explain the concept of volunteerism with suitable case study, then write an essay on the history of volunteerism in human society. Okay, so these are all about unit 3. Then unit 4 is based on your work ethics, where you will learn about punctuality, time management, cleanliness, law abidingness, rational thinking, and scientific temper. Okay, so if possible I will discuss this chapter entirely in some other video, but I just roll on this video, you just look, and if possible you prepare by making your own note if time permits. Okay, so here you will learn about work ethics. What do we mean by work ethics, its meaning and concept. Then punctuality and time management, what is cleanliness, law abidingness, rational thinking, scientific temper, other principles of work ethics, then qualities of leadership, then your contemporary challenges, concept of self and work ethics, then some important questions. Okay, so this is your work ethics meaning and concept. Okay, Webster Dictionary defines work ethics as a belief in work as a moral good, a set of values centered on the importance of doing work and reflected especially in a desire or determination to work hard. Okay, So next is your right. Okay, you just see this. I will take another class and we'll complete this. So these are the core values of work ethics, that based on reliability, dedication, discipline, productivity, cooperation, integrity, responsibility, professionalism, honesty, punctuality, and time management. Okay. Let me just, this is the meaning of punctuality. Okay, you just see, pause the video and learn. Okay, so this page is very much important. Ethics on ethical diligence, punctuality, teamwork, professionalism, honesty, integrity, rationality, then resourcefulness, then conscientiousness. Okay, so if you learn these things, then you may get some question of 1 mark. Okay, that define these terms. Okay, so work ethics, rational thinking, scientific temper, integrity, punctuality, cleanliness, professionalism, teamwork. Okay, everything is defined here. What is teamwork? What is punctuality? What is diligence? What is unethical? What is ethics? Okay, so you may go through this page and you will able to answer the multiple question or multiple choice, or means your short question bearing 1 mark. Then for 2 mark you prepare differentiate ethics and work ethics, nation of work ethics in ancient India, then conceptualize the term work ethics, discuss the idea of work ethics in the Western world, what are the contemporary challenges to work ethics. Okay, then essay type, write a brief note on the concept and meaning of work ethics. What are the work ethics valued by leaders which contribute to an individual's success? Then answer with examples. List the attributes of positive work ethics. Write a note on how significant work ethics are nation building. Discuss the code of ethics prescribed for students. How can those help them to succeed in life? Okay. So these are some important questions, and this video is completed now, and where we learn about the important terms of and possible questions of all the 4 units, okay, of your ethics and values of second semester, that the exam you will face in near future. Okay, so with this today we will finish our class, and all the best for your exam. Take care and we will meet in the next video. Okay, so till then, bye bye, take care, and please subscribe the channel. Okay, so that you can watch the latest video that I will upload in my channel. Okay, so thank you all.